Yo, what's up, chefs? This is going to be a quick and to the point no spell cleric guide. This build has been absolutely terrorizing solo games recently, and from my experience has only one counter that I'll talk about later. As you can see, for the perks we are running Blunt Weapon Mastery, Faithfulness, Perseverance, and Protection from Evil. This would also be the order that I would take them if I was leveling up a fresh cleric, just for reference. And I don't think you'd want to trade any of them out for any of the other options Cleric has to offer. For the skills, we're going to be taking Smite and Divine Protection, and the core of this build really comes from the synergy between Smite and Faithfulness, which makes it so that if you're hitting someone with Smite active, they're going to lose an incredible amount of movement speed and will not be able to get away from you. Divine Protection is also very important as it allows you to get up to or very close to the PDR cap of 75% without sacrificing a bunch of movement speed, and in fact allows you to be incredibly quick while accomplishing this. As you can see, I've got 315 movement speed currently. Hopping into the gear section, I'm going to show you what I'm currently running, and then I'll give you some ideas of things I would consider changing and some lower budget options and things like that. I'll also just say in advance that one of the really nice things about this build is that it benefits from a ton of different stats, and at the same time, while they can be helpful, it doesn't really rely on any of the expensive stats that most other builds do, like true physical or magical damage as an example. The main things you're shooting for is basically as much move speed as you can fit, up to probably 318 or so, because at that point when you take your chest piece off, you'll be at 330 and be able to catch anyone. And then outside of that, you pretty much just want tanky stats. And I know that a lot of people kind of like priority list or good stats to look out for, so that'll be popping up on screen right now as I go over the gear. For my gear, I'm running a Morningstar plus Buckler combo. I think the Morningstar is the best option, and you don't even need anything fancy with add weapon damage or anything like that. A random rare or epic one will do just fine, and I got some max health on mine as a bonus. The Buckler I've got has armor and max health, and I know a lot of people like to run a Lantern secondary, so they don't have the movement speed penalty of the Buckler, but I prefer the Buckler because it's a very cheap way to get a lot of PDR. When I pull it out, it gives me an extra 10%, which puts me all the way up to 40% total. Alternatively, if you wanted to get that much PDR without a Buckler, you would need to get a bunch of plus armor rating rolls on your gear, which can get very expensive, especially on the more popular items like loose trousers and champion armor. Also, don't worry about the move speed that much, because most of the time I'm chasing people with my weapons put away anyways. And if I really need to chase someone with my weapon out, like a rogue for example, then that's what I've got the staff for. Magic staffs are incredibly cheap, and I think this one was like 200 gold for these crazy stats, and the magical damage scales your smite, which is also very nice. So in summary, I use the Morningstar Buckler combo most of the time, and if I'm chasing someone very fast, then I'll swap over to the staff for those instances. Moving on to the armor, we've got a Chapeau de Fur with Vig and Will, a super nice Fox pendant we stole from a Giga Juicer that has Add Fizz, armor rating, and max health bonus, champion armor with Dex and max health bonus, and this type of chest piece can get really expensive though, so if you're looking for a more budget version, I'd highly recommend the Frock. Pretty much nobody uses these, so you can get insane stats for really cheap, and the base stat Dexterity for the increased action speed is actually pretty nice for this build. As you'll see, I have a fair bit of it scattered around on my gear currently. For pants, I've got loose trousers, which are great when it comes to keeping your move speed high, and I went for Dex plus action speed, which were pretty low budget. For the boots, you're going to need Lightfoot boots with either move speed bonus or add move speed, or both if you want to break the bank, but typically I'd recommend just move speed bonus as it's usually the cheaper option. For rings, I've got double epic rings of quickness, and mine are pretty nice with add magic and fizz damage reduction, which were honestly not that expensive for what they have. But if you want something even cheaper, I'd go for just tanky stats like max health and PDR, or armor and stuff like that. Just avoid the add damage rolls because they're usually what drives the price up. For gloves, I've got light gauntlets, which are what you'll want as well, and I went for Dex, fizz damage reduction, and max health, which were pretty cheap and honestly amazing stats for the build. My cloak is also pretty nice and has true magic and max health, Same thing here though, you can go for True Magic or True Fizz, or if you want something cheaper, just go for purely defensive stats. For consumables, you're just going to want to make sure if you're going in with a kit that you have a good amount of protection pots and a surgical kit, and then obviously a bunch of health pots and bandages. Next, I'm just going to let a couple of PvP clips roll so you can see how strong the build is and give a couple of tips and tricks I've learned so far while playing it. The number one tip I have is to inspect rogues in the pregame lobby and see if they are running Cutthroat, because this is pretty much the one and only counter I mentioned from earlier, because Cutthroat will remove both Smite and Divine Protection from you, and you'll just get shredded by the rogue after that if he's geared. So if you see any rogues with Cutthroat in your lobby, then you should avoid them at all costs during the match and just look for other people to fight. The second tip is going to be to try and not splurge on your usage of Divine Protection. Some people are becoming aware of this build, and one way for other classes besides Cutthroat rogues to beat you is if they bait you into using Divine Protection and then commit to fighting you while it's on cooldown. If you ever do waste your Divine Protection, you should do your best to just run away and reset until the cooldown is back up, and then take the fight again. My third tip is going to be that if you're chasing a really fast Warlock or Wizard, to take your chest piece off. Assuming you've got an okay set of gear on, then this should get you very close to the movement speed cap of 330 with your fist out, which is going to make it pretty much impossible for anyone to kite you. The final recommendation that I'm going to give you before letting the rest of the clips roll is to just get in the dungeons and try this build out for yourself. I can almost promise you that it's going to get nerfed in the near future if the devs start to catch wind of how broken it really is. So if you want to stack up on some gold and BIS items in the new 125 plus gear score lobbies, then now is the time to do it. Other than that, as I said, I'm going to let the rest of the clips roll, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And last but not least, take it easy, chefs.